Welcome to Spiritual Ambition, where we tune in to awaken our divine nature and explore the provocative inner force compelling us toward our fullest potential. If you've achieved external success but feel a deeper calling, if you're tired of dimming your light to fit in, and you know there's a more powerful way to live and lead and love, you're in the right place. Host Donna is a best-selling author, modern-day high priestess, and catalyst for personal transformation. Together, we're birthing a new paradigm of loving leadership, integrating our humanity with divine wisdom as our individual awakening serves collective evolution. Here's your host of Spiritual Ambition, Donna Bond.
Hello, welcome back. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome in. You are watching and listening to episode 41, Taking Your Power Back with Maria Marshall. I am Donna Bond. This is Spiritual Ambition, where we tune in to awaken our divine nature. Today, we're going to talk about what happens when you finally recognize the places that you've been giving your power away and what it truly means to take it back. My guest, Maria Marshall, is the CEO and the founder of Gaia Goddess Lifestyle. And she learned through her own healing journey what so many women understand intimately, that we can't keep giving away our true self and calling it love. So if you have ever made yourself smaller to keep the peace, or maybe you stayed quiet to preserve a relationship, or maybe you learned that being invisible somehow felt safer than being fully seen and heard and witnessed, then maybe there is something in this conversation for you today. We're going to talk about the mother wound and the patterns that we have carried forward, maybe without realizing it, and these moments in life that keep inviting us back to take a deeper look, to start our own healing journey. So taking your power back, it's not about becoming hard or defended or being a bitch. It's about healing the part of us that learned to abandon our own truth in the first place. And it's about returning to that inner authority and that real authentic power that has been inside of you the whole time. Today on Spiritual Ambition, we're not only taking our power back, but we're realizing that our power is our love. And that's the truth. When we're talking about authentic power, it is our love. Your true authentic power is this resonance, this frequency, and this energy. So this isn't really about being more loving. It's about remembering that you have an essence, and that essence is made of the energy and the frequency of this loving. That's our true power. And if you want to learn more about the science of that, you can check out the work of maybe Dr. Joe Dispenza. It's a good place to look. He has spent years studying the biology of elevated emotions, and he found that love and gratitude are among the highest, most coherent frequencies that a human being emanates. Where, we have been taught through cultural conditioning and upbringing sometimes that power is about control, but that's really fear and anger that is disguised as a false strength. And that just keeps the body stuck in survival mode. So the question that I'd like to invite you into today, our soul starter, is: in what way am I giving my power away, thinking that somehow is bringing me to the love that I seek. And I'm going to say it again if you want to jot it down. Welcome in, everyone. Hello to those of you who are popping in the chat. It's lovely to be here with you. Jennifer McCormick, welcome back as always. Kim Princess, hello. Thank you all for being here. So our soul starter question for reflection today: in what way am I giving my power away, thinking that it would somehow bring me the love that I seek? All right, we're going to begin where we always do. We're going to close our eyes. We're going to call in the light. And then we are going to welcome Maria Marshall to the stage with us here today. And I'm so excited for you to just experience Maria's presence, because she really emanates what we're talking about. That authentic power of love just comes through her. So I can't wait for you to meet her. But right now, I'd like everybody to close their eyes wherever you are, unless you're driving or operating heavy machinery, and just sensing into the beautiful energies that are present on the planet at this time. Just take a nice deep inhalation, calling back your energy from all of the places that it's been out working on your behalf. Infinite universe, once again, we call ourselves forward into your loving presence. We ask to be cleared, filled, surrounded, and protected with the clear white light of living love. We ask that any karma, negativity, or imbalance be lifted and transmuted at this time, taken to the highest realms of light and sound, and dispersed back into the nothingness. Into this space, we call in grace and peace and light, upliftment and joy and creativity. We call in the power and presence of your soul, of your original wisdom. We acknowledge and we welcome only those divine beings of light who are loving and guiding each one of us individually and collectively along our respective paths. We welcome only those divine beings of light who work for the light and support the plan of loving. We are grateful for the opportunity to come together and do this work, and for this and more. We say thank you. So be it. Just bringing your attention back to the room. Welcome, everyone. It's lovely to be here with you today. You know, so many of us learned long before we could even name it that love had a price, and that price was self-abandonment sometimes. So if you've ever found yourself apologizing for things that were never your fault, or shrinking your needs down to something maybe a little bit more palatable, if you've built a life that looks put together on the outside, but quietly you're feeling like you're not even in the picture, you don't want to miss today's episode, because we're going to talk about the mother wound with Maria Marshall. And this isn't just a psychology term. It's actually a healing journey that so many of us are on without even knowing it. And today we're not going to just name it and trace it, but we're going to bring our love to it, because the way home to your authentic power was never in fighting the wound or eliminating the wound or pretending the wound never happened. It was always through loving. And the invitation today is loving yourself back to that authentic power. And to support us in doing that, we are going to talk with the CEO and the founder of Gaia Goddess Lifestyle, Maria Marshall. Before we welcome her on the stage, we're going to send a little light and love out and around the planet. If you have anyone who is in need right now, who might be struggling, who could use your beautiful intentions for healing and upliftment, you are welcome to just drop their name in the chat. or you can visit spiritualambitionsacredlight.com and you can submit their name and we will hold that individual in our sacred container. But in this moment, we are going to send light to any of the displaced families around anywhere in the areas of Sudan. We are going to send the light to everyone in the area of Palestine and Myanmar. We're going to send the light to Celia and Don, to Betty and Bob, to Nadia, to Abby, to Pat, and to Paul. If there's anybody else, Alana, we are sending the light to Alana, Jennifer's son, Harley. Yes, we send love and light and blessings to David, Ashley, and Nicole. Thank you, everyone. Do not underestimate the power of your love, the power of your presence, and the power of your intentions. Well, without further ado, I am going to share with you about our guest today. Maria Marshall, as I already mentioned, she is the CEO and the founder of Gaia Goddess Lifestyle, which is a holistic healing collective dedicated to the empowerment of women across every economic, culture, and racial background. She's a Reiki master and an integrative energy healer working with Reiki, sound chroma light therapy, and breath work. And she helps women come home to themselves. Her healing path began at the Lotus House, a holistic shelter for women and children that was based in Miami, Florida. And it was in that work that went on to shape everything that Maria would go on to build. Before healing became her life's work, Maria trained as a visual artist, and she brings that same creative and storytelling spirit into every space that she holds. When she's not nourishing her own business, you can find her writing or hiking or foraging plant medicine for herself and the women in her community. So we would like to welcome to our show, to Spiritual Ambition, Maria Marshall.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me, Donna.
Maria, thank you so much for being here, bringing in a little New York City energy into the space here in the jungle of Costa Rica. What a blessing to have the power of technology bringing us together all over the world.
Yeah, I second that.
Well, Maria, Maria and I met on Dr. Jesse Hansen's show, Lead with Heart. And Maria, when I saw your interview and was listening to what you were talking about, you really got my attention with this mother wound. And so I'm going to start right there. And I want to invite us right out of the gate to go a little bit deeper into that, in your definition and words and understanding. Share with us what is the mother wound and give us some signposts that might help somebody recognize if this is operating in their consciousness, in their life right now.
Yeah, thank you. It's an interesting question because I will tell you, for most of my life, I resisted even acknowledging that I had a mother wound. I think that some of us want to remember and think of our parents as perfect. And we want to idealize our childhoods and sometimes even deny any pain or trauma that might have happened, as if denying it makes it not so. And that's really like the first trip up, I want to say, because you're holding on to an idea.
And an ideal.
An idea. And I've studied with Paul Selig, whose guides often say, forgive them for not being who you wanted them to be. And if you think about the mother and the energy that she brings to her child. It's safety, it's nourishment, it's nurturing, it's support, it's connection, deep connection, because we grow in our mother's wombs. And not only, do we grow in our mother's wombs, but we also inherit a lot of the womb energy without knowing. So there are so many intricacies to the relationship between mother and child, and we are energetically connected to our parents and to our children. So how they live, what they think about themselves, the self-worth that they carry, their own insecurities are energetically passed down to us. Not only do we have our own stuff to deal with, but we also have the ancestors, behind and before us. So I like to think that whenever you are focusing on your own self-worth, your own self-love, your own healing, you do it with the mindset that you're not just doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the collective, you're doing it for the ancestors, you're doing it for the earth. And that way you can stop feeling maybe a little bit self-indulgent, as if that's a thing. When you think people don't want to take time for self-care and self-nurturance because they think it's selfish. So back to the motherhood wound, in my case, I didn't know, really. I really had no idea that I harbored this wound. As my mother was dying, though, she was dying of cancer. We were all, all of my siblings, we were just snapping at her, irritated, angry. And I'm like, what are we doing? Like, why is my sister yelling at her? Why are we snapping at her? Why are we angry with her? And I think on a soul level, I knew she was about to leave and transition, although I was denying it on every conscious level. But I think there was a lot of anger coming up during her death, because I realized so much was left unsaid and unhealed between us, and I was going to have to do this after she passed. And then when she did is when my inner child started processing what I actually felt as a child that I never remembered. And, I don't want to be too run on. I'm happy to go into that later.
I want to pause you right there, because what you're saying is such an important takeaway point for everybody to hear. We have these younger aspects of ourselves. And you said my inner child was starting to process these things. Now, your inner child is exactly that. She's inner, but she's expressing through who we are today, right? So now we feel like we're losing a grip with reality, because what's coming up and what's unhealed is that younger part of ourself. Mm-hmm. And that's expressing through who we are today. How disorienting. And I just recently went through a very palpable, real experience of that, which was super interesting with my mother. And I'm not going to get into that. If you want to know about that, you can go watch Dr. Jesse Hansen's show, Lead with Heart. Watch
So back to the inner child, though, I understand maybe not everybody understands. That is the aspect of you, as Donna said, that was maybe abandoned herself, that was abandoned by her mother. So at different ages, when you experience trauma, and it could be the mother trauma, it could be emotional abandonment, it could be abuse. At those points in time where we experience the trauma, parts of our soul leave us. And it's very hard to be fully in your power when your soul has left you. And in my case, I didn't realize that this had happened until my mother passed. And I know I see, it looks like maybe Donna's popped out or having some difficulty. So I'll just lean in and explain a little bit more about this trauma. I started doing breath work as a practice during the pandemic. And as I started doing that, I started to see more of how I had. Hi, Donna.
You didn't miss a beat, did you, Maria? You're educating everyone on the inner child. I know it.
How did you know? Of course I was. Because I really want to say that I didn't understand how much I had abandoned my inner child. At one point before the really heart of the processing, I remember a friend came over and she's very psychic and she's like, your inner child is screaming, get me out of here. Because I was so stuck in survival mode and not playing. And this is another sign, right? You said that you have these wounds, that you have this trauma. The connection to joy and playfulness and, just appreciating life. We can sometimes be very, very narrow focused, like just get through it, just survive it, just, push through life. And a lot of times when we experience that trauma, early trauma, that's what we do. We learn to control, to be perfect, to defend, all of those things. And you don't realize when you get defensive, it's not you, it's that little girl inside that, was made wrong or never felt acknowledged or loved or held, and I realized that I missed feeling that as a little girl. And then I had to learn to heal and give it to myself.
To self-parent, yes. And, I want to address this because when you first came on, as you were saying hello to everybody, you really spoke to the idealization of our childhood and wanting our parents to be perfect.
Yes. And it looks like Donna jumped out again. That is, some of us grow up realizing that our parents weren't perfect. We're very aware of alcoholism or abuse that happened, and then they deserted us. And that's a whole nother thing. But sometimes even the parent that provided for us and stayed with us could have abandoned us emotionally. My mother was not present at all. Yeah. And Donna, you're back. So are you there? Okay. All right. We're going to just flow with this and let's see. So I'll pick it back up for those who are still listening. Donna interrupted anytime that are you there? So anyhow, I'll just explain a little bit more, not explain, but relay my own experience that I had no idea what I had to heal with my mother until after she passed. And I started an awakening process. It's interesting. I want to share that my first psychic reading ever, where I was introduced to my beloved guardian angel, Jonathan, he said that my mother's death was my alarm clock to go off. So on some level, we had a contract with each other that when she passed, I would start to awaken. And what I know, and I really want everybody to understand on a deep level, is that our souls have free will. So if I experienced trauma or an emotionally abandoning mother, or, I was molested as a child, all these things that I experienced were actually compost for me as a soul to create what I came here to do. Without these experiences, without my mother's emotional abandonment, I wouldn't be who I am today. And I certainly wouldn't have the vision and the desire to create Gaia Goddess. So I think it's important as we speak about the motherhood, the mother wound, or any kind of trauma or pain that happens to us, to always understand it. Maybe you don't know why you chose it, but never to go into victimization. Because the minute you start to consider yourself and tell the universe, I'm a victim, this happened to me. I'm a victim, this happened to me. Oh, I'm a victim, this happened to me. The universe just reads your thoughts, and you actually create more of that energy. So it is a very healthy mindset to just accept, as painful as it is, to accept what you might have experienced and consider that you actually chose to experience it for a reason. Because the energy of victimization is not something you want to get caught in.
Thank you, Maria. I love the question that is on the screen right now, and would love to invite you to share about what are the frequent behaviors that come up, today. I know my healing journey didn't really start until I turned 45. And now I'm 58 and things are still popping and happening. What's happening that can clue us in to
Sure.
This might be an opportunity for us to address?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think anxiety is something that really was present in my field, and not just because of the motherhood wound, but when you're not being emotionally met as a child and getting the love and the nurturance you need, you're going to have an anxious state, right? Because you're not feeling safe. Your needs are not being met. So that's one experience that I've had, and I think is common. Also, I mean, low self-esteem, low self-worth, because if a parent or a mother does not reinforce you and make you feel emotionally secure, let you know that you are loved. Because I want to say, like, if you don't get love from one of your parents, the love I think the love from the mother is not that more important than a father. A lot of women have very close relationships with their father, but I feel, for me, like, if I could pick one parent to abandon me emotionally and one parent to not and really support me, I would pick my mother to support me. And so if that love, you didn't feel it growing up, that's also, you're going to go through life thinking, I am unlovable, because why did my mother love me? Why didn't she ever hold me and tell me? I mean, every child needs to be held and told over and over, I love you. You are amazing.
Just the way you are.
You
Just
are
the way you are.
just the way you are. You are perfect. You are good enough. Like, we don't get that from the world.
That's right.
We don't get it from our mothers. It's hard to find. I didn't get it. So most of my life, I will tell you, very low self-esteem and self-worth.
Yeah. Connected to that inner critic. Does that show up for you as well? Because I know for myself, boy, she can be brutal, just brutal. And me being able to work with her and not be mean back to her in that snappy, directive, forceful way, but really meeting her with compassion and empathy and that deep listening of what do you want to say, right? What are you hurt about? What are you defending against? I'm here. I'm listening. Go for it.
Yeah. And I also want to say that, our mothers' insecurities and dysfunctional behaviors also can become our own. For instance, My mother fasted and abused diet pills her whole life, and she had body issues. Guess who has had that, grew up having that? Me. My mother had a high need for control and was highly defensive. I inherited that as well. So you might also want to look at, what your mother passed down to you because she was unaware, not because she meant to, not because
Yeah.
she didn't love you, because she herself had a wound. And so
Yeah.
again, we assume that our parents should be perfect. The problem is they come in and have children with their own scars, their own wounds, and they're raising us from those. I will say I'm proud of myself because I did not repeat the patterning with my own children. I gave them what I did not receive. And so I'm grateful because sometimes we do repeat patterns. I'm grateful I broke it there. Really
Yeah.
grateful.
I acknowledge you for your awareness. And that's because of the inner work that you're doing, right? Now, you said something earlier when my internet was going out that many people can perceive as controversial. And so I want to bring it back in and I want to bring it back up. And it was connected to, I just saw a question. What if you were adopted and your bio mother knew that she was giving you away? How does that affect the adoptee? And so I want to bring in the idea here of spiritual curriculum and what you were describing as knowing that all of these challenges that you had to work through and face were designed to set you up for what it is you came here to birth in this life, your soul's purpose, your soul's mission, and that your soul's mission couldn't have been delivered had you not gone through all of these challenges. And I just want to connect this because, whether you're adopted or whether you have a birth mother, this is just part of your growth line. It's part of your soul's learning journey. So I just wanted to bring that back in here because I also very much subscribe to we can't experience our dharma and our fullest expression of ourself without moving through our karma or our curriculum, our spiritual curriculum, all of the challenges that life presents to us. And our parents sort of set the framework for that.
Yeah, and our children too. They come to teach us as well, where we have these contracts, these soul contracts. So it can be a friend, it can be a partner, it can be a mother or a parent or a child even that comes to teach us. And I have a friend who's experienced some horrible trauma during a childhood, and she said, "Don't tell me I chose that." And I'm not going to. I have a lot of compassion in my heart for people who cannot accept or don't want to accept, or that's not their belief system. That's fine, whether you believe that or not. I just want to reiterate, whether you believe it or not, if you see yourself as a victim, because I've seen this and I've witnessed this in my life, you will create more evidence of victimization. So whether you want to call it a mindset shift or use some affirmations to reframe, or you want to say, hey, I chose it, whatever works for you. I just think it's empowering, actually. And I will say, during a very dark night of the soul where I was releasing a lot of beliefs, a lot of trauma, a lot of pain from my heart, from my womb. I mean, I went through a lot as a child. The motherhood wound is part of it, and it's deep, but there are other parts as well. As I was working through all of that, it was a lot. The belief and knowledge that I had chosen it made it very hard to forgive myself. I was
Yeah.
so angry at me for having chosen it. Easier to let other people off the hook, not so hard to let yourself off the hook. And I just want to name that, because I think we're often, as you said, Donna, hardest on ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that you're bringing this forward, Maria. And it's, we have to remember that we are multidimensional beings. And when we say this, I chose this, this is not the human part of us that is doing her best job to move through life. That's not the part of us that opted in, right? Let's be clear. Like you said, you use the word soul contract. These are agreements and contracts that are made in another dimension, in another reality, that are beautifully designed for the best way for us to grow. And, we know when we're on the other side of this, as you were beginning to speak to, there is the joy and, looking younger, feeling vibrant, having that aliveness move through us. And it's a journey to get from when we're giving our power away to having that power back and having that power anchored inside of ourselves in a way that it's a wellspring that is just bubbling up and bubbling out. So my next question for you in delivering on the promise of today's show, when we talk about taking our power back, take
Yes.
us back to you. Take us back to your story, Maria. And when did it begin? And sort of what was your awareness when you first discovered you were giving your power away?
Yes. And then somebody had a question that kind of relates to this, is what do you do when you're working to be neutral and somebody's actively still aggravating you and won't change? So I want to first say that as a conscious being, you can never choose in the life of another, even your own children. So if their children choosing alcoholism, for instance, as parents, we want to fix our children, but their soul is also like steering the helm. Like, you cannot choose for another. And if you keep trying, you'll just frustrate yourself. Yes, I'm not saying don't help them. I'm not saying don't put them in rehab if they need that kind of intervention. But I'm also saying you are not in charge of anybody's soul but your own.
Yes.
And then where you left off, Donna, with the question was what happened early.
Taking your power back. Yeah. When you first were recognizing that you were giving your power away and you were playing small and you had to make this pivot in your life. And I'm going to go so far as to say your soul came online, because that's what happens.
Well,
there are certain relationships and activities and experiences that our soul comes online, and that is a power and that to not be reckoned with.
I'm going to take this really far out there. I hope you guys are willing to go with me on this one. But Donna, as things started coming up, I heard, you're going to bring, I have a shaman friend. Yeah, you're going to bring him to New York, put him in a hotel, and he's going to do 2 days of shamanic journeying with you. And in those 2 days, I had given my power away in other lifetimes. So talking about interdimensional, we're not even just healing just this, what we know, but also all the lifetimes that are connected to it. So there was that. There were those 6 lifetimes I saw, and they were rough. Oh man, was I mad. So there was that. Like, just the tip of the iceberg, guys. It was the kickoff party back to me. And then I started going from, so I was doing other lifetime work, but I also started seeing through breath work. So I'm a Reiki master. I'm used to being open. I'm a very open-hearted person, but it would be like everything would just shut down. And I'm like, I feel despondent. I got to go breathe. And I'd go breathe. And in those breath sessions, which I'm leading one tonight for my community, memories would come up. And I also did some writing. And then I would release and I would feel the pain in my heart. I would cry. But then because I would release, that power came back to me. Sometimes I consciously went and took my power back. There were a couple of instances in this lifetime where scarcity mindset came in. My dad died, and then also something in my marriage when we divorced. And I was told I had fragmented parts of my soul from that. So I had to grab those back. I mean, I have a backpack, that I just keep, picking these pieces up. But as you release what holds you hostage, and I mean hostage being fear, belief systems, again, ancestral programs. As you start to release those, guess what? They're not in your field anymore. You have more room and spaciousness for your power. And as Donna was saying, love, because we are of love, right? Everything is love. Fear is not love, but everything else is love. So the more we can heal that self-criticism that came out of the mother wound, or the more we can heal the fragmented parts of our soul and grab the pieces of our soul back. Like, for instance, I was violated as a child. My soul left and she did not come back. Parts of my soul. She was like, it was safer to be outside. Once I was able to heal that and remember it first and heal it, then I could integrate that part of my soul back to me. And of course, you want as much of your soul as you could possibly have. So that's what it looked like for me. And it was a long journey, years, but I knew
it's
that
a journey of a lifetime, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not going to say that my soul won't pop out again. If something happens and I suffer a loss, or, life happens, you guys. But I will respond today, the Maria I am. And it's been about a decade, and remembering who I truly am, I will respond and attend to my needs like immediately with love and compassion, not with rush, but just each time that healing is required, I will respond. I just didn't know to do it for the first 50 years of my life. Yeah.
I want to come to that, because this is going to take us back to the beginning of something that you said. But on Lead with Heart, you said this. You said, the more we release, the higher our vibration goes. And the higher our vibration goes, the more magnetic, radiant, lighter, younger, and vibrant we become. So we know, and two women here who have done the inner work, we know what's on the other side of it, right? All of those yummy qualities, because what we are doing is we're releasing, we're dissolving, we're clearing what's in the way of our radiance, of our soul, of our light. What do you have to say to maybe the women who are secretly listening to this conversation, who don't want anyone to know that they're even interested in this, and they have that little inner nudge, but they might be terrified? I mean, I'm going to point to one of my sisters who, my middle sister said to me, she came to one of my retreats once, and she said, I was so afraid to look. I was so afraid to look at myself. I was so afraid to uncover these things, right? And that really is where so many women are.
Yeah. I am not going to BS you guys because I've been there, and I do have siblings, and I have a lot of people in my life and my family that, and again, as just one of the audience's question, that don't maybe want to change. And as a light, they can feel traumatized, by you shining down on them when they're like still trying to stay in the shadows. It's like, that feels comfortable. That feels safe. And I get it. And I would have stayed there forever because what I had to do was very, very, very difficult. I did not want to leave my marriage. I did not want to recreate myself. I was terrified. But I knew I had to. And I will not say it was easy. And I also will say that I don't think most people necessarily have as much as I had to have to clear. And I realize I might have had a bit more or a lot more, whatever. It doesn't matter. We're all equal. It doesn't matter. There's no race. There's no A+ here. I might have needed that for the brand and for the impact that Gaia Goddess is supposed to have. But I just want to say that I wouldn't change what I've been through. I will say you want to stay younger and you want to look great and you want to feel great. Raising your vibration means your energy goes up. You are more love. You're more in alignment with the light. So of course you're going to glow. Your aura is going to be lit. After some of my biggest releases, wailing wall, I call them, releases and breath work, I mentioned on the show, I looked in the mirror and I was like, wow.
There you are.
What happened to me? And I have friends, you guys, I just turned 60. I have friends that are like, Maria, if you had a facelift, or Maria, what are you doing? Or Maria, you don't age. And I'm not aging the same way I would have aged because my vibration is higher. And a higher vibration, also, you don't get sick as often. You just embody these qualities and these not emotions, but the vibration of positivity and love and wanting to be of service and all of these, and empathy for others and caring, not that you take on other people's stuff, and that's what being in that vibration is like. You're living on Earth, but you're not living on Earth. You're living sort of in this other realm or dimensional space. And maybe it's the fourth dimension. We're supposedly going to the fifth dimension one day. So it's like you can sort of, what's the saying, Donna? To be of the world, to be in the world, but not of it.
Not of the world. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys literally are shifting your reality. When you shift your vibration, you are shifting your reality. You become the co-creator of your life and authoring your own life. And you get to decide, well, what does that look like? Instead of being in response to life, you're creating your life. And that's, I feel like there's so many reasons, and I don't want to sound like a saleswoman. There are so many reasons to go on the journey, because ultimately anything can be healed and you're safe. And what I want to do, and what I know Donna wants to do, is create community where we come together in healing and love and vibration. And when we do that, when we join our powers and our forces, we become even stronger, because we're coming together, and because we are all one anyways, but we're coming together in that effort to heal and raise our vibration, which is like a collective prayer.
Yeah, it's my collective prayer as well. Well, Maria, tell us about what you have created. Tell us about the Gaia Goddess Lifestyle and the opportunity that is for healing and for people who are ready to take themselves on a journey.
Yeah. Well, I think what I created has to come out of why did I create Gaia Goddess. And honestly, ladies, I was on my own in a pandemic, really going through a lot, and I didn't have a friend for miles, and I just decided that I needed to create something so no woman ever felt alone in her own healing journey. Even just like going through a divorce or having a child that has issues, it can be a very lonely path. And as we start to heal, it can also feel very lonely. And so I wanted to create community around women's healing, getting women back on their feet. Like myself, I had very low self-esteem, self-worth. I believe it's an epidemic. So is, the sexual trauma women have endured. I mean, you guys, more than you probably even imagine, the average woman on this planet has gone through this, and it's been very disempowering, and we have to come together and heal this collectively. So I have created a space where women can find what they need, but be their own gurus, be their own healers. In other words, here's 5 healing paths. Here's a survey to identify, because you may just know, oh, I know I need this path. Most of us know, we all have this claircognizance, all knowing inside of us. Our souls already know everything. So yes, if you don't trust that, if you haven't learned to trust it yet or develop it, we teach that as well. But you can use the surveys and you can choose a path. And then there are events and there's virtual healing. So one I'm doing tonight, it's breath work, it's Reiki. And I lead women through an hour of Reiki and breath work. And it's very transformative. But when they come together, they're all having these really big healing moments. And so I'm really passionate. As Donna said, I had volunteered a lot in a homeless shelter, and I love working with women. And so this is a way that I can bring the work globally. I can also donate. I can continue to work with the homeless and give them memberships for their guests while they're there. So I really, this is a beautiful way that I can maximize the healing that I want to offer, and also work with people like Donna and some of our practitioners, because I'm not the only healer, right? We all, are healers, and even we offer healing programs. So you, if you come on board, might want to become a healer. You might want to be certified as an earth priestess. Maybe you want to be certified in Reiki. Like we can all be doing this and feel like, yeah, we don't need anybody to give it to us, to heal us. Although I will tell you, there were times, even though I'm a healer, there were times I heard, yeah, you need a healer for this piece. Yeah. And thank God, source brought that person to me. I knew exactly who to call. I didn't have to go searching. I didn't say, what is it? I knew when to, because I'm I listen. I listen to myself above all. And that's what we all should be doing. So Gaia Goddess is a online and in-person platform.
Well, I'm not sure if you guys lost me or I lost Maria. Okay, there you are. Now we're back.
I was just saying, finishing up, that Gaia Goddess is in person, online. We have virtual healings, we have certifications, and I'm sure we'll have a marketplace and products down the road. There's so much to do in the world. And again, I was saying, a big part of this is collaboration with other healers, with women financial experts. We need financial literacy. There's so much the women need to just be on their feet again, standing tall, and on an equal level playing field with the divine masculine. We need to be in balance. In order for us to ascend to the 5th dimension, we have to be in perfect balance. And that's never going to happen if women are not working on themselves and learning to love themselves and all of that.
Maria, where can we find you? Where can we find Gaia Goddess Lifestyle? Give us your socials so everybody can follow you and keep up with what you're doing on the planet.
Thank you. The website is Gaia Goddess Lifestyle, GAIA Goddess Lifestyle, and Instagram and Facebook also, Gaia Goddess Lifestyle. We have YouTube channel. and Pinterest and all of the platforms. I would check out, there's a lot of content on Instagram and also on YouTube. And then you can watch 5 minutes of any video in our library. So if something looks interesting to you, or you don't know what a yoni steam is or what womb healing is, and you just want to listen to maybe 5 minutes to say, oh, that makes sense, you can look at any of our content. We have podcasts also on our channel. And I will be on my own show come November, and the name of the show is Unleashed. So beginning of November, if you want to tune in and hear more about what's going on with Gaia Goddess, and also just the conversations of unleashing and what we're letting go of, and that'll be in November at 10 o'clock, I think, on Saturday mornings, 10, 11, depending on your time zone.
Terrific. Well, I hope you guys can hear me right now. I know if the internet's going a little bit wonky, we're going to have Maria back when her show launches so that we can learn more about Unleashed and everything that she is guiding people through. I want to give a little bit of a nod to the celebration of Love's Alchemy. And today I want to bring our love to the mother wound and to any pain that we have, just meeting ourselves with love and compassion and understanding, and just knowing that we can reparent ourselves. We can be that loving presence for ourselves. And every time we do that, we build trust and we build that inner esteem, and we get rid of those old stories of not enoughness. And everything that Maria has shared with us today, I am deeply, deeply grateful for you, for the work that you're doing on the planet, for the invitation that you have made to so many women that are out there who are ready to begin their own healing journey. So thank you so much for being here today. And I plan to have you back when Unleashed is airing live, and we'll do this again, hopefully with a stronger internet connection.
Yes, please. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We are going to close our show and close our sacred space in the same way that I like to open it. So we just ask that the light be sent up ahead for everyone's healing journey, for wherever you are on your path, knowing that it's perfect. You're in the perfect place at the perfect time, that everything that has happened, you have a chance to make peace with that, to take your power inside of yourself from what you've learned through that experience, anchoring into that authenticity and that loving, letting that be your guide and your light, taking you through the rest of your journey. We are now closing all energetic lines of communication between any of us, closing all open portals, gateways, channels, agreements, and lines of communication between any of us and the spirit world. We are so grateful for the opportunity to come together, to soften our minds, and to open our hearts. For this and more, we say thank you. We are closing in love, with love, for love, by love, as love. Thank you for being here. Thanks, Maria.
Thank you.